We're all set? Okay, good. Yes, go ahead, sure, take a walk out there, make sure everything is visible there. We have 4 televisions running, check what you need to. Okay, are the 4 TVs on? Good, okay, and these 2, so we're all set on that. All right, then staff, are we ready? Good, all right, well then, let's see, did anybody happen to think to bring a gavel for tonight's meeting? Oh, right in front of me. Oh, shades of getting old here. Okay. Well, let's see here. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We call this meeting to order. This is the North Miami Planning Commission meeting on Tuesday, June 20th, 2017 at 7 p.m. in Council Chambers. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Roll call of board members, please.
Chair Kevin Seyfried.
Present.
Vice Chair Charles Ernst.
Present.
Commissioner Kenny Each.
Present.
Commissioner Jason James. Commissioner Peggy Boulay.
Present.
Commissioner Bob Peshon.
Present.
Commissioner Mike McDermott.
Present.
We have quorum.
Thank you very much. At this time, do we have any amendments to the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Staff would like to request that the Planning Commission, considers, the other individual items, before the LDR updates, because we have an alleyway abandonment, and then we also have the 2 CBOs items, which are, they have to have meet certain deadlines, to submit to HUD. So staff would request that the Planning Commission reviews those items, before the LDR updates, which is going to be a much lengthier meeting.
Yes, we expect the LDRs to take the rest of the night and then some.
Yes.
What is the pleasure of the commission relative to this request?
I would put the other people first.
Put the other ones first? Okay, fine. All right, we agree? Okay. All right, in that case, we'll
Do we need to vote on that?
not as long as you've expressed your acquiescence. If you go with that, then I'll live with that.
Okay.
All right, let's go with approval of minutes of May 17th.
So move.
All right, Mike McDermott moves for approval. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Boulay. All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved, Madam Secretary. Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
You're jumping the gun slightly, aren't you?
I am. I do have one concern about the minutes that I would like to raise.
So you're suggesting an amendment of some sort?
I am.
You may proceed.
Thank you. Jerry Proctor is my name. I'm an attorney, office at 9130 South Dadeland Boulevard. Thank you for hearing me out of turn. Page 7 of the minutes from May 17th. The third paragraph, the second full paragraph. I believe that the street that is noted in the language should be 123rd instead of 125th. This relates to the mini storage discussion that occurred in May, and we'd like to perhaps discuss that issue a little bit later in the substantive part of the meeting, but just for the purpose of the minutes, I think it would be more accurate if it indicated 123rd Street.
All right, the chair concurs. We accept that. Do we have a motion on this?
Motion to approve.
All right, seconded?
Second.
All right, fine. Motion made by Mr. Ernst, seconded by Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, fine. That part's done. Let me sign this. All right, Madam Secretary, thank you. All right, so let's begin then with the item PC 2-17. This is a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, approving the vacation, abandonment, and closure of a portion of a 15-foot wide alleyway located south and adjacent to the southerly boundary line of Lot 12, Block 5 of San Souci Estates, according to the plat thereof, as recorded in Plat Book 50, page 86 of the Public Records of Miami-Dade County, further authorizing the city manager to negotiate the sale of the subject alleyway in accordance with Chapter 29, Article 3, Division 9, City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Land Development Regulations, and to take all necessary steps to effectuate same, providing for effective date and for all other purposes. Staff report, please.
Yeah, good evening, Nixon LeBron, City Planner. This application involves, an alleyway abandonment along which was requested by the property owner, Mr. Chad Piotrowski, which is here present tonight, behind his property. This is a 15-foot wide, a unimproved city-owned alleyway, as the chair you mentioned, is located south and adjacent to the southerly boundary line of the applicant's property. And as it stands right now, the alleyway is not even cannot be used for any purpose by the city. It is even stopped at the mosque that is a congregation property that is located, just a little bit west of the applicant's property. So the applicant, is in the process of improving his property, and then want to use the back, because he's providing a pool, and then want to use the half portion of that alleyway to further improve his property, provide for better landscaping and screening, and in essence to provide additional privacy for his property. So we have reviewed the application, and then the application met all the criteria for granting such, a vacation and abandonment for city properties, as in Article 3, Division 9, Section 3-906 of the city's LDR. And then we have also requested, two independent appraisals, and then one came for $8,500 and the other one for $5,580. And then as per Article 1, Section 3 of the city charter, and the applicant has agreed to pay 90% of the highest appraised value, which is $7,650. So staff think, that, the request meets all the requirements, set forth in our LDRs, and then is recommending approval of the alleyway, of the sale and abandonment of the alleyway. So if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
All right, thank you. Sir, you're at the microphone. What is your connection to this?
Good afternoon. My name's Chad Piotrowski. I'm the property owner. I'm the one that requests the abandonment.
All right, so you're proposing improvements to your real estate,
Yes, sir.
and you're prepared to pay 90% of the highest appraised value.
I've already signed a letter to agree to that. Yes.
Does the commission have any questions for the property owner? Sure.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
You mentioned in the report that you had not heard back from your neighbors.
I did.
So what is, can you update us on that? You did hear back, and can you verify or give us some idea of their thinking on what you plan to do?
Absolutely. I have a letter that was included in the file from Rabbi Jordy agreeing to
That
it
I saw that,
for the entire 15-foot area.
correct?
The other neighbor didn't want to give up his half, so in the application and the survey, the property line that abuts his property, I would get 50% or 7.5 feet, and he would be entitled to the other 7.5 feet if he chooses to go through the abandonment process as well. So the way the survey is laid out is my property would extend 7.5 feet back to run along his property, and then when it hits Beth Moshe, I could have the full 15 feet.
Right.
So we properly accounted for everything, and they're okay with that.
Okay. Now, my next question to staff is, I'm not quite clear as to how we ended up with that alleyway that's used by the utilities that is incomplete or wasn't paved over, but just kind of a no man's land between those residential properties.
To your point, the city has currently a series of alleyways, like that, unimproved, and there's no public purpose for it. And then I remember last year the city council had commissioned, that the city administration, studied that and then see if some of those alleyways can be released, really. And then this is why, one of the reasons why his application took a little longer, because we were told not to process any such application until that study was done, and then to really effectuate that.
Right.
But because of the urgency of his case, so we had to process the application. But this is being considered right now by city administration, because a lot of those alleyways, even though there are utilities, but with the utilities you can provide an easement. They still have access to the property.
Right.
But then the applicant can use those properties, which can increase their property values and further, bring even more tax revenue to the city.
Sure.
So, but the city is right now considering that, because
Yeah.
a lot of them, there's no public purpose for them.
But I guess what I'm looking at, legally, anybody along that area that abuts that abandoned property can make a decision to buy that from the city.
I mean,
And-
yeah.
So if you have two people that are back to back that want to buy that, Mr. Attorney, what would be your opinion with how the city should deal with that? Is it first come, first served? Are we setting
Divide in the
some?
middle.
Dividing the
You
middle.
divide in the middle.
To the middle, because actually,
Okay. ahead.
no, I was going to mention, because whenever you're doing a plat, even for a street, for an alleyway,
Right.
the property has to dedicate a certain portion for a road or even an alley.
Right.
So that's why only half of the alleyway is being reconveyed back to the
Okay.
property owner.
All right.
But
Well, see-
but with Betmosh, in this case, they didn't want that alleyway, so that's why he was able to acquire the full
Acquire the other part.
the other part.
So you could have, in effect, let's say down the road, you could have an abandoned piece of land in between two houses that decide they only want half of it, and then you've got a section that somebody said, well, I don't want to buy it, and it's just going to remain vacant. So, I'm looking for ways maybe that the city could
Yeah, and I
come
think,
up with a solution of, let's
A
do away
permanent
with the
solution.
alleyway all the way, and let's give everybody along that line half of that alleyway. I don't know how
Can I respond to that? Because I dealt specifically with the city on this point, and they
Sir,
were,
can you use your microphone?
sorry, and they were very upfront with me, and they said, you're only entitled to half. However, if you go to your neighbor and they sign an affidavit willing to give you the entire part, then you can have it. The gentleman that lives behind me, I told him the cost that's involved in this, and I just sure that he wants to do it, but it's expensive. I have the luxury of doing it, and at some point, if I have further discussions with him, and I will, hopefully he will concede to give me that as well at some point in the future. But he's been living there for 50 years, and he's 80 years old, and he just didn't want to do it at this
No, I
point.
understand. It seems like it's a little bit of a,
no, and I see your point, Mr. Vice Chair, and then this is why the city is doing that study, because we've
Yeah.
been facing with that, and then it can be only onerous to the applicant to have to acquire that, and then especially when there's no purpose. And then this is not just in that area. On the west side also, we have.
I saw the map.
exactly.
I know the city staff has pointed out there's other areas in the city, and, just never, the only time we ever had this come up, I believe, was with the Burger King issue,
Yes.
where they
Yeah.
wanted that property, and we went ahead and did it. But this is a whole complete alleyway where everybody has a chance to get a piece of that. And I have no problem with that, only it's just that it seems like maybe going through all this hassle with somebody having to go through this, we come up with some sort of a solution that let's divide that down the line and
And
make
that-
it for future sale if need be or whatever, that each one of the persons on either side has a chance to buy,
I mean, and that's a decision that the city council would have to make, because only them can dispose of city property. And then,
Yeah.
so that's why we're trying to do that study and present that to them, and then they can make that decision,
Right.
as per the charter.
Right, and again, I have no problem with you doing this, my
I was getting
question to
nervous.
staff is that you're fine, as far as I'm concerned, but again, city should look at, the staff itself should look at all these other pieces of property where we're
But the
facing
condition,
this.
and the conditions around it are, there'll be no construction in the alleyway other than a fence,
Correct.
which will have gates to allow access by the utilities.
Correct.
And in the event the utilities need to get back there for an emergency or something,
If they rip it down, it's my
they
responsibility
take no
to rebuild it.
responsibility for having to rebuild your
Right.
fence.
Everyone was very clear on that.
I have a question.
Sure.
Couple.
I'm getting nervous again.
No, just aesthetic questions. So I'm looking at the picture for subject rear and on page 8. is that why it looks somewhat like, an L shape or a boxed in kind of opening, like a grassy area? Is that why it looks like that? So once you get granted, you're given permission to do this, would that open that piece back up and then connect?
I don't have the picture in front of me. Can,
Do you want to pass it to? Subject rear.
Oh, that's from the real estate appraisal. Which appraisal is it?
Page 8, subject rear.
Yeah, you go to the
Me. So here, is that, so this is you here, right? So is that why that looks like an L?
yeah, because the church.
So you're trying to connect that? To connect there. Okay.
correct, my fence is there, and then you see the grassy area behind it, and then you see a concrete retaining wall. The concrete retaining wall belongs to Beth Moshe, and that's the beginning of their parking lot area. My fence essentially would go back to that wall, and that would create a larger
A
yard and
level-
green space.
Okay.
Correct.
And, okay, yeah, so that was my question. I just kind of wanted to get a better picture of what you're talking
Thank you.
about. So I'm
All right.
okay with it. See, it wasn't that bad.
All right.
All right, at this point, the chair will open the floor to the public. Anyone wishing to speak to this item is invited to step forward. If you really feel it's necessary.
Just
I wasn't aware there was any serious question here, and
There's not. Kevin Burns, 2065 Alameda Drive. One of the unique things about this particular property is that it dead ends to the end of the alley. But Charles, you're right about, we've been dealing with this for 10, 15 years because it comes up every once in a while. And hopefully with the study it'll be done. What the fairest thing, and you all may push this along, is that the city at no cost will divide the alley in half, give it to each property owner, waive the permits to build new fences on their new property. Because if you try to separate the alleys and then you're gonna charge them to move their fences, nobody's gonna do it. If they pay, nobody's gonna do it. All over the city, we have these alleys, whether it's on the west side, Central City, or San Souci area. These alleys are a burden to the city and cost us money because we have to send our crews through there to cut it, maintain it. People think that you can't take the garbage trucks down there anymore, you know, the one-armed bandits. And so it is something that maybe that the Planning Commission should push forward as you recommend this, hopefully, that the city should really think about just granting it to the 50-50 on each side so that we can kind of face this once and for all. Unless, of course, it butts up to the commercial property, then that's a different story. Thank you.
all right. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak to this? Hearing none, public hearing is closed. The chair will call for a motion.
I make a motion that we accept.
Kenny H. moves to approve. Ms. Boulay seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congrats.
All right, one down.
10,000 ago.
Yes. All right, on to PC 3-17, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, adopting a fiscal year 2017-2018 action plan under the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, and Home Investment Partnership Grant, HOME programs, as required by CFR 24, CFR 91.15, paren A, paren 1, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. Staff report, please.
We have Marie, the housing manager, and she'll present the staff report.
Good evening, Marie Fonz Jean Ference, City of North Miami Housing Manager. The resolution, every year, the city have to adopt an action plan outlining the priorities in the funding year. Contrary to the staff report, while we were doing this to adopt it, because we have to go to the whole process, we did not receive any allocation for this fiscal year when the package was submitted to you. On Friday, the allocation was posted on the HUD website. I'm just showing it to you to let you know what it was because we did it based on what we received last year. So currently we just received it. I'm just going showing it to you just how it was, how we appropriate the amount.
And what is the value of this year?
Well, CDBG was reduced by $23,000 and home was reduced by $700. Yes.
$700?
742. So this year we are receiving 698,978 versus of what we received last year for 722 to 24 in CDBG. Home, we are receiving 208,444 for the action plan.
So we will have to try and do more with less.
Yes, sir.
And who gets the pay cut? Yes. Well, all right. Is there anything further in the report?
No, this is virtually, this is hard. It was, well, when we did it, when we wrote the staff report, we did not know what we were working with. So now I'm just telling you what we received because it was posted, and this is the amount we're gonna have to just break down with the different activities, letting you know what we're gonna be doing for the year.
All right, so effectively, the city has $104,847 that are theoretically up for grabs.
Yes, with different activities that were implemented by the consolidated plan when we were doing it.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
And
Yes.
as you can see, they are divided into different activity like rehabilitation, economic development, public services, public facilities, elderly emergency grant, the administration, which will be on a home program, which will be 10%. The CHODO, which the city needs to partner with community-based organizations for $31,000. Single-family rehab, which is at a lump sum of $133,000. First-time home buyer, which will be $20,000, and the tenant-based rental assistant, which would be $3,000.
My question, Mr. Chairman, also to you, ma'am, that is not affecting what we have to work with later on tonight in the CDBG grant number that we are working with, correct?
No.
This is for the next cycle?
It will be it will be part of the CBO that you'll be working on tonight, but it will not really impact it because 15% of the allocation of CDBG, it's of the 698,978 is 104,847. However, last year we've used $80,000. Staff use the same $80,000. So however it goes this year, you won't make any impact
So
on the
that
CBOs.
stays.
It will stay. Yes.
Thank you.
So you're down 23,000 this year.
23,000 on CDBG. Yes.
But at the same time, with the amount that we are discussing here, right, okay, I see the,
As you can see, the public service,
But in
which is
actuality-
15%, is 104.
right.
So the difference will be reduced, but we're still gonna use the 80,000 for the CDBG, like
Okay.
we
So
forecasted.
80,000 is what we're dealing with tonight.
Yes, same amount. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Do we have any further staff report on this item? None? All right, then we'll open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to this item is welcome to come forward.
Make a motion.
Second call. I don't want to bend over backwards to encourage speakers, but, you know, this is your opportunity if you choose to speak to the overview here. If not, then we'll move on. All right, thank you. All right.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Seconded, made by Mike, seconded by both Kenny and Ms. Boulay. All in favor? Aye. All right, so we have that. Now we're on to PC 417. A resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the award of fiscal year 2017-2018 Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, funds to not-for-profit community-based organizations, CBOs, as required by 2 CFR 200.458, and providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Marie Franz-Jean Farron, City of North Miami Housing Manager. As I stated earlier, the allocation when we devied the amounts, we worked with usually 15% of the CDBG allocation should go towards public service. However, the fact that within the 15%, we can still allocate the $80,000. So therefore, we're still gonna work with the $80,000 that we work, our panel worked with to allocate the money to the 12 CBOs that had applied. This year, 12 CBOs applied, and a panel made with legal department, Parks and Recreation, Police Department, and the Finance Department made their recommendation with the allocation for this to the CBOs. Attached, you will see the ranking that came up. We came about how they were ranked, and the amount they requested, and the amount that the staff recommendations were. So it's up to you to know if you want to go along with staff recommendation, or you want to deviate the amount. Most of the CBOs were told to be here tonight in the event that you have any question or make any presentation.
All right, let's take a look at the. Okay. Mr. Each, are you going to join us? Kevin, whatever it is, we'll get to it at some point. All right. Let's take a look at this. We'll take it from the top so we read into the record because this is televised for those that are not here.
Yes.
All right, first item, if I may, I'll work off of your page. All right, first item recommended, we had a request for 12,000 and staff recommended 0 for Art Academics Academy. This was a Trap Garden Initiative and Tech Talks Academy. Do we have anyone here from Art Academics Academy Incorporated? You may come up. You have 3 minutes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, so my programs, right now with academics, we have with the Parks and Recreation Department. We work in the Clyde Judson Center in the park, the Kiwanis Park, and we organize that part, the garden. We help plant for Earth Day, and we maintain. We have our things there. We go bi-weekly to maintain and grow. We also have right now our summer youth enrichment program. Last year we had it at Aspera. This year we have it at Benjamin Franklin, where it's an academic infused enrichment program. We also have a winter tech program where we focus on robotics, engineering, and coding. And throughout the school year, on weekends, we have 3 cohorts that it's a 3-month-long coding boot camp.
All right.
Ma'am, can you just state your name and address for the record?
Vanessa Pierre, 1395 Northeast 131st Street.
Thank you, Ms. Pierre. Does anyone have a question for her?
Here on the board.
Yes.
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
So is the program structured like a STEM program?
Yes.
And you have an academic hour, or how many hours?
We have 3 hours for academics right now during the summer program. 3 hours for academics. Every day we focus on a new topic, and we follow up at the end of the week with a field trip. And the second half of the day, we infuse the recreation portion. So we have yoga, we have theater, and drama.
How many students do you service?
58 right now.
And do you follow the students as they matriculate on to their next grade?
Yes, up until the 8th grade, and then for the high school students, when they eventually get to that age, they enter into the 3-month cohort program, which focuses on the coding.
Okay, and what's the age group?
For which program?
For all of the programs that your organization encompasses.
For the youth enrichment program over the summer, it's from 5 to 8th grade, so that's like 13, 14. And for the 3-month cohort program, that's 11th and 12th graders, but they have to have between a 2.0 and a 2.7 GPA. Nothing higher than that, because that is the demographic we want to work with. Anything above a 2.8, they pretty much got it from there. They don't really need guidance.
And the students that are right at the 2.0, maybe 1.9,
Mhm.
will you work with them?
Yes,
or-
that's the at-risk demographic that we're looking for because they're the one that needs the most guidance.
Okay. And the $12,000 that you're requesting is for the entire school year, including the summer?
It's for the summer, the tech program, and the 3 cohorts. So the first cohort is October to December. Second cohort is from January to March, and the third cohort is from March to May.
And then with the robotics program, are your teachers trained in robotics? Will they be attending like the Lego trainings and so on?
Yes, we actually went to Legoland last year after we had a follow-up. We had an outside company come and demonstrate demonstrate for us, and then the kids actually got to build their own things. And we followed up with a Legoland field trip.
Any other questions for Ms. Pierre? Hearing none, thank you, Ms. Pierre.
Thank you.
All right, next item, Experts Resource and Community Center Incorporated. They were grantee this past year. They requested $10,000. Staff recommended $8,650. This was addressed to Danny P. Felton. Is Mr. Felton here? Come on up. Sir, state your name and address for the record.
Danny Felton, 600 Northwest 183rd Street, Miami Gardens, Florida, 33169.
Okay, tell us, this is your 3 minutes.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for this opportunity. The Experts Resource Community Center, we are a HUD-approved housing counseling agency that provides homebuyer education workshops, that provide down payment assistance program workshops, that provide financial literacy for adults and youth. Every month, we actually have a course here in the city of North Miami, and we've assisted over 100 residents. We, at the City of North Miami Library, we offer a homebuyer education workshop consistently, which our attendance is growing. Also, throughout the city, we provide financial literacy workshops for individuals that are 80% or below the median income.
Okay, that's very good. You would want to read that into the record, yes.
I attended one of his workshops, so I'm not sure how that plays into all of this.
Jennifer, relative to her voting on this, would that be construed as a conflict of interest?
No, I
No.
don't find that just attending a seminar with no kind of financial connection or interest in the organization would require you to abstain or to disclose for the record.
Okay. All right, very good. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, we have another disclosure here since we're on that topic, Jennifer.
Okay. I have to disclose that I'm on two of the boards under consideration. I'm a non-paid volunteer, but the city attorney advised that I should declare a conflict and therefore cannot vote on the ranking of these organizations.
All right, which are the two that you serve on?
I serve on the Foundation for Senior Citizens and the Police Athletic League.
Okay.
Commissioner McDermott, are you a named member of,
Pardon?
in accordance with the Articles of Incorporation for these nonprofits, are you a named member?
No.
But he's on the board?
I'll defer.
Well, if there's a conflict, you should, after you announce it, you need to leave the dais for the entire item.
Oh, I do?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And there also should be a written form for declaration of conflict. Do you have one?
I don't think we've ever seen one of those. You might want to whip one out at your convenience and,
I don't think I can actually whip one out, but.
well, have a stack ready by next month because the
We'll
issue could
provide.
come up someday again. Some of us are involved in lots of different things.
Right, so just as a general proposition, if there is a conflict, and I don't know whether there's a codified provision in your code, but typically that board member for that particular item would step off the dais.
Okay.
It ensures non-participation.
All right. Don't get too lost, Mike, because we have the LDRs to finish tonight. Okay. All right. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Felton? Anybody on the board? No?
I do.
All right, Ms. Belay?
Sorry. Do they receive certificates at the end of the program, and do you all follow those that have gone through the workshops to make sure that they are still following whatever advice and tools that you've given them to continue with the home buying process?
Yes, a part of our workshop consists of a homebuyer education workshop, but then you have each individual will do a one-on-one housing counseling session, which you're able to actually do a triage to see where that person is at in the home buying process. So you have a chance to go through their credit report, to do affordability study with them, to prepare them to, and also we assist them with writing letters to credit agencies and all of our services that we provide. We track that through our client management system, Counselor Max. In addition, I forgot to mention that we also provide loss mitigation services throughout the city as well for individuals that are experiencing hardships or that are potentially in foreclosure or experiencing foreclosure. We're part of the National Foreclosure Mitigation Counseling Fund that provides those services for individuals as well.
All right, thank you, Mr. Felton. Do we have any more questions for Mr. Felton? No. Hearing none? All right, thank you, Mr. Felton. You may stand down.
Thank you.
All right, next up is FANM Ayesien Non Miami, also known as FANM Incorporated. Attention, Aline Francois. You did not receive funding last year. You requested $10,000 this year. The city is recommending $8,180. Please tell us about your program.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aline Francois. I'm representing from Ayesien Miami, located on 100 Northeast 84th Street, Miami, Florida, 33138. Basically, we are a social service agency, been in the community for over 25 years. We have been doing a lot of work with getting individuals, families to come out, know their rights, voters registration, citizenship. So we have our development director, Relinda McCarthy, that will go more into details about the grant, and Miknick Deriska, who actually conducts the classes and help the people throughout the process of getting their citizenship.
All right, you have 2 minutes remaining. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Rolinda McCarthy. Again, I'm from Founder Development Director. One of the key components to the agency is our immigration and civic engagement component. And this is where we're not just helping the clients with their immigration status and maintaining citizenship, but also letting them understand how they're empowered within the community with the engagement component, the civic engagement component.
All right, thank you. Sir,
Any
do
questions?
you have anything to add?
No.
No? All right. Any questions?
I've one.
All
How
right.
many, you're in Miami. How many North Miami residents do you think you address?
Oh my. At the last count, so I'm using numbers from last year because we're still in the process of this year, so we don't know what the ending. So within last year, just in this area, we're about at 75 to 80.
So
That
Okay.
went through the citizenship process and all the other services that you
Correct. Correct.
about 75 to 80 North Miami residents?
Correct.
Thank you.
Do you have a figure of some sort of how many that actually went through and finished the process, the citizenship process?
Yeah.
We actually have a citizenship class that runs every Tuesday from 5 to 7 p.m. And we have actually 50 students, per class. Then we think that we can reach out to 80 more residents, in North Miami. That's what we're planning to do.
So basically what I'm saying is, do the majority of them complete the
Absolutely,
citizenship
absolutely.
process?
We have a passing rate of 98%.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful.
All right, thank you very much. And no further questions then? All right, you may step down. Thank you. All right, next up is Florida Immigrant Coalition Incorporated, Maria Rodriguez. They were a grantee last year. Their program type is citizenship. They asked for $10,000. The city recommended $8,900. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Ivan Parra from Florida Immigrant Coalition. Thank you so much for helping this program. During the last 4 years, we have been able to help allow community and residents of the city. Successful, we have served hundreds of people. We only ask for a zip code and ID in order to be served. Definitely, there are other people that from other part of the county can come, but we only count for the grant the people that are living in the city. As you know, this is a great opportunity to have the community to become U.S. citizen, and many of them, for lack of money or knowledge, can apply. So we, our partners and our program, we have been able to serve the community that need it.
All right, thank you. Do we have any questions for the gentleman? Mr. Ernst?
Again, I want to follow up with the asking exactly how many citizens within North Miami would you say are impacted by your program? What is your current?
So for the last year, with the last grant, we had 4 different sessions, and in each session, around 70 people came and we served. So we're talking about 280 people. We know that the community is really in need of this, so but our capacity is limited. So that's why we asked for 10,000. But basically, we are offering 4 more sessions during the next year.
But how many passed? How many passed? Like, we asked the same question to the organization prior to, and so they basically gave us a round figure of a 98%, correct? Passing rate. So
correct.
The same question.
Okay, in this case, because we have very serious screening, so only people that are really able to pass the interview, to pass the process, we are filling out their application. So, in fact, basically, only like 70% of people that show up are really passing the screening. So when they pass the screening, 100% of those people will be able to become U.S. citizens. So that's why we serve more than we really need.
How do you know this?
Sorry, what?
How do you know that the ones that went through the screening passed their citizenship?
Because we have a program that after we fill out and pass the information, we call the applicants and see if they receive the fingerprints appointments and they receive the letter for the interview. And we are very happy when they call us and say, thank you so much, we already passed, I am now a U.S. citizen, or I had the ceremony in a couple of weeks, thank you so much, I was waiting for this moment 10, 15, 20 years. It's incredible. People have been waiting for this moment for years, and they don't know about this program only because you announce and we promote it. So that is basically the way that we follow up, and we make sure they are in the correct track, the correct way.
I guess what Ms. Boulay may also be driving at is what are the criterias when they walk in the office? What do you get? What information do you get from them to make the judgment as to whether or not they can move forward with the process?
Oh, it's a 19 questionnaire. I mean, we have a very strict process of we announced the requirements. First of all, these are the requirements to become U.S. citizen. Are you ready? So we do info sessions and we explain what are the requirements because they are very complex. So these are the requirements, so be ready, bring these documents, and then we have 19 questions. If they say, yes, I'm ready with this, I'm ready with this, I'm ready with this, okay, perfect, you qualify. Because
Okay,
you qualify, go
give me an
forward.
example of a question that you would give, for
Oh, one
instance.
of the question is, this is legal question about screening, legal screening. We say like, have you been in an immigration court? Have you been arrested? Have you voted before or registered? Because sometimes it's complex. So we really screen people because it's a legal service, and we don't want that person applying and be in front of the USCIS officer with questions that the person can't answer or be in trouble. So, okay, if the case is very complex, okay, we refer that person to we don't serve that person. So very like cases that we can handle, and we are sure that they are going to become U.S. citizen in a timely manner.
Do you have outside counsel that consults with you or that helps you with this?
Yes, we have a lawyer in our staff, immigration lawyer, and also we partner with Catholic Legal Services.
Okay.
And so every single complex case, we partner with the Catholic Legal Services, and they continue the case with those people.
And there's no fee involved with any of your clients,
No,
correct?
no, definitely no, but that is something that we are really like want to get more fund in order
Right.
to keep this program open without asking people for money.
So
Okay.
if you can't
Thank you.
service them, is that when the Catholic Charities and all those other entities step in?
I'm sorry.
If you cannot service the person who comes to you, or the person who
Yes,
comes to
definitely,
you, so do
definitely.
you then refer them there, or that's just it for them?
No, we have two different models. One model is we hire lawyers right there that the person has like a criminal records, example. So we are not gonna process that case. So, but we hire a lawyer that is gonna tell people you need to bring those documents, get these documents from the court, clarify this, do this, but that's it at that moment. In the case, we can serve the case, the Carroll Legal Services is gonna keep the case and follow the case, and we have a person for Carroll Legal Services in our sessions. So the person can get an appointment right there for Carroll Legal Services, right there. So, okay, your case is not gonna be with Florida Immigrant Coalition, it's gonna continue with Carroll Legal Services. If the case is very complex, that even Carroll Legal Services say no, so in that case we say, I'm sorry, we don't have resources for that, so needs a private lawyer. The case is very complex. Imagine a person with different courts in different states. So it's a case that even Carroll Legal Services can't handle.
All right, thank you. Do we have any further questions? All right, hearing none, you may step down, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right, the next applicant is North Miami Foundation for Senior Citizens. Debbie Kleinberg was the contact. They were grantee from last year. They service seniors. They requested $10,000. Staff recommended $9,400.
Good evening. I'm Debbie Kleinberg, and I'm the Executive Director of the North Miami Foundation for Senior Citizen Services. Our organization has been in North Miami providing services to the frail elderly for about the past 43 years. We provide social work assistance and counseling, home-delivered meals, transportation to the grocery store, homemaker, caregiver support, and volunteer services. Currently, with North Miami CDBG funds, we provide 2 meals a day, breakfast and lunch, 7 days per week, to some of our frailest clients. Most are primarily homebound, unable to shop for groceries or safely prepare a meal for themselves. They often have limited financial resources that are stretched to meet their most basic needs. Our goal is to provide meals and other services that will help them to spend their remaining days as they choose, safely and securely in their own homes. In our application, as mentioned, we requested $10,000 in funding to provide 2,920 meals over the course of the contract. And we thank you for considering us for funding.
All right, thank you. Do we have any questions for Ms. Kleinberg?
Are the clients referred to you, or do you seek them out, or how
A
do you
little bit
get
of
your-
all. One of our responsibilities is certainly to get the word out about ourselves. And since we've been here so long, we get referrals from doctors, other agencies, even City of North Miami employees. We've even had postal employees. So it runs the gamut.
And is there a first come, first serve, or?
Prioritization based on screening. We do a comprehensive assessment that was developed by the Florida Department of Elder Affairs. And for the purpose of meals, we do a nutrition risk assessment that was developed by nutritionists across the country to really zero in on those in the greatest need.
So if they were in hospice, would they qualify, or?
It's possible. It becomes a matter of prioritization based upon their level of need and what other resources are available to them. If there is somebody in the house each day assisting them, they may have less of a need, even though their overall need is great.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Debbie. Hearing no questions, we'll move on to the next one. The Police Athletic League of North Miami, attention Natalie Bissereth, grantee of 2016-17. Yes, they service youth. They requested $15,000. They got $9,400 recommended by staff. Go ahead,
Hi there.
officer. Nice to have you with us.
Nice to have you with you also. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yes, put the microphone down a little lower.
Why? Because I'm too short? What are you saying?
Vertically challenged, perhaps, is a better
Perhaps
way.
a little. If not, I have a big mouth. I can speak up. I'm with the North Miami Police Athletic League. As you know, I started this. I've been in with PAL for about the last 5 months now. What inspired this grant was about 6 months ago, we received the hot sheet, and that's usually crimes and stuff that occur in our city. On the hot sheet, there were 6 kids on the hot sheet, ranging from serious crimes from a burglary vehicle to armed robbery. The oldest kid on that hot sheet was 15 years old. And I thought, oh my gosh, we've got to do something with this. You know, we've got to do something. These kids are out there, they're bored during the summer. This was around Christmas, a little bit Thanksgiving. When kids are out, they're bored, they have nothing to do. So through research, there's the YDC and the YDP program, which is the Youth Development Program / Committee. And currently what we're doing is we're working on building that committee. This committee provides leadership. I forgot to tell you that every single kid on that hot sheet, they all lived in North Miami. Every single one of them, yes. And they were all Haitian as well. So especially being Haitian American, it really made me upset, you know? But anyway, so going through this and going through everything, I realized, you know what, there's something that needs to be done. So with creating this YDC and this program, I also thought, how do we get the kids that are not quite in trouble yet, but getting there? So I partnered with the JAC, and they just recently agreed to partner with us. So what we're going to do with this program is first-time offenders that live in North Miami that have committed crimes that are not non-felonious, so just misdemeanor, petty crimes, first-time offenders, non-sexual, non-violent offenders, will be referred as a diversion program to our PAL program. And with that, we'll introduce them to the different programs that we have out there. Right now, we have the boxing, which we just ranked nationally with our boxing. We have our track program. We have our tutoring. So with this, we're focusing on their grades, their behavior, and we're monitoring them with our tutors. So our goal is to just keep more kids in the parks and less kids in the pen. That's our thing.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other questions for Officer Bissereth? No? Hearing none? Thank you.
We started this in when,
You do?
I'm sorry?
Oh, okay.
I noticed you had on here 98. I felt slighted because I think we started this in 96.
Possibly. That part I wouldn't be sure because I didn't do the research on the year.
It
So
was. I was
yeah, so you could be right. I'm not that part. You could be right.
Money, you better agree with me.
Yes, absolutely. So you're right.
I think Ms. Belay has a question.
Yes.
So I'm the educator of the group.
Yes.
As you can see with all.
With the glasses. Okay.
So, by the way, Commissioner Genti was part of PAL, and he then matriculated on to the Miami Gardens Police Department.
Right, and
he
he's
also
actually
serves.
coming to us for assistance, and I'm like, whoa, we get the money, we'll give you the knowledge. Yes, so we're actually helping them. As you know, with PAL, it's a partnership, so we're partnering with, actually NMB was with us today, so we're partnering to just pull all of our resources together, because nationally, there's so much out there, so just pooling together, we can do more with our finances versus just being individuals, so that's what we're working on, and we're actually helping Miami Gardens now build their PAL up.
Are you also going to have a program much like DARE embedded into your program in the schools?
Well, right now, I kind of wear a few hats. I'm in the schools, and that's how we started with the program, was going out to the schools, bridging that gap with the community, because right now, no one likes the police. You know, the first time I went into the schools, the kids ran away from me. Now it's, hey, Officer Natalie, how you doing? Let me tell you what happened. And I got a couple of kids that tell me what's going on. So pretty much, yes, you know, we're in the schools now. We're already doing that, but it's just taking it to the next level. Because we have the kids in the school. They like us. They understand us. But it's the kids that are not going to school that we're trying to get a hold of, because there's no real truancy program that we do. That's school board if it's really effective. So we're trying to get those kids that skip school, that stole from Walgreens, that did something stupid, and they're not necessarily criminals, and we're trying to grab them before they really make it over the edge.
Okay. One thing that'll help is that if you sit down with the school counselor as well as the assistant principal. Normally the assistant principal has hands-on first knowledge of who those
kids
students
are?
Yes,
Yes.
those targeted students are.
Right.
Maybe you can kind of, I'm not sure if you do that already, but, you know, that would be a.
Actually, what I do is, and it's kind of weird, everybody, the ones that like me, I don't really need to kind of win you over. So I go, there's a class, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, where within the schools, remember when we were growing up, because we're older, we would get expelled and you'd stay home, or you get suspended and you go home. Well, they don't do that anymore. They have indoor suspensions, and then they send them to
Packs.
Parkway. They send them to Parkway, which is a school for the kids. So they're not home breaking in the cars and committing these crimes. So what I do is when I go to the schools, I meet the kids that like me, but I go into the classes that don't like the police officers, are committing the crimes, have been suspended multiple times, and are on the verge of getting kicked out. Those are the kids that I deal with, because those are the ones that we're trying to save. If you're good, stay on the right path, but we're trying to grab the ones that we're gonna lose, pretty
And
much.
Do you plan on taking field trips with them to colleges and so on and so forth?
As a matter of fact, with our little pilot program now, where we're trying to develop the YDC now that we have 15 kids that's in the program now, Monday through Thursday. This is our second week. The first week we went to the police department, where we spoke to IA. We spoke about issues that police officers have, what to do when you encounter police officers. This week we're going back and we're dealing with crime scene. We're now going to, and this is just for this 4-week pilot program, we're going to DCJ, and we're also going to the JAC. So they're understanding what's going on. We're partnering with Judge Serafin now. I'm still waiting for the call back. He agreed to have us go into the court system, sit in his courtroom, be there for the day, and then have lunch and ask him questions. So yeah, part of the YDC starts from age 11 all the way to college. So absolutely, we prepare them for the future, whether it's getting a job, like next week they're gonna learn how to iron, for example, how to keep your clothes clean and look presentable. So yes, and etiquette. I mean, we've got all types of life skills that we're teaching.
So hopefully you guys can do a college tour and
Yes.
maybe
Yes, right
technical
now-
trades as well.
Yes, as a matter of fact, the reason why the field trips that we have now are geared towards the kids in our class. We have one that wants to be an attorney. That's why we're going to go see Judge Serafin. We have one that wants to be a canine officer. That's why we went to the police station. We have one that wants to go into CSI. That's why we're dealing with crime scene. So that all of the field trips are geared towards the kids' interests, so we don't lose them. You know.
Awesome.
So yes, but yeah, college absolutely. But that will be during our year program.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good.
What
All
is,
right. Yes.
you're over on 16th Ave or 17th
Yes, 134.
Avenue there
Yeah,
now.
right in that corner.
Yeah, now, the plan is to move over to the gym when that's done? by
Yes, that's
high
the
school?
plan. Right now, what we're doing with this program, especially now that we've partnered, the JAC, they've agreed, which is awesome. We had said 40 because we thought we were going to stay there, but we're actually trying to partner with Parks and Recs, because Sunkiss, which is on the west side, is kind of underutilized a little bit. So we're going to try to have a satellite PAL over there, and that's what we're working on for the school year. So we'll be able to service more kids because they can't get to where we are and the
Especially on that
facilities.
end.
Right. Yeah. And one of the things also that we're doing with our YDC is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. They actually create the PAL. They actually run the PAL. They tell us what they would like. They come up with the fundraisers. So they're doing everything, and we're assisting them with it. So yes.
Who's your two boxing coaches? There are
Our two,
champs.
there's Ford and Ian, yes,
Yeah,
and we
they're-
just ranked nationally now. I've got pictures if you want to
yeah.
see. Yeah.
That was really impressive. You guys are doing a great job. over
Awesome.
there.
Yes,
Thank
they
you.
worked really hard. We ranked nationally, so we're doing good.
Congratulations and thank you for what you do.
Not a problem.
Your adult leadership all comes from the police department?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Your adult leadership all comes
There's a
from-
mixture. There's a mixture. We have, right now, it's the police department, but we have outside people that are coming in to speak to them. So we're telling them that, because not everyone in the program is interested in law enforcement, obviously. So we're trying to cater to all of their needs, so it's not solely geared towards police. So yes, we have people on the outside, and I've invited, actually, people from the city, from different departments, to come and speak to our kids, to open their eyes to all the careers and things that are out there.
Maybe Dr. Smith. could be
Yes.
you.
I'm sorry?
Maybe Dr. Smith. could be
Yes,
you.
yes, definitely, definitely. I've asked some people, but I can't say their names right now. But, you know, I'm just saying. Yes. So,
All
and
right.
Etienne, as you know, was part of he grew up in our program. One of our officers now that's in it was in the PAL program. Our boxer that just won nationally now, he's actually older, so he's aged out. His next fight, you'll see him, he's going to fight professionally. So it's like, we're doing big things. We're doing big things.
Very good.
Alrighty?
Thank you very
Perfect,
much,
thank you.
officer.
Alrighty.
All right. Next up is Prosperity Social and Community Development Group Incorporated, Nadej Vilsan is the representative. They were grantee last year. Their program type is literacy. They requested $10,000. The city recommended $8,650. You may proceed.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Nadejville Saint. Location is 1175 Northeast 125th Street. I want to start with saying thank you so much for the support of the City of North Miami. For the past 2.5 years, we have been servicing in a partnership at the North Miami Library, providing literacy to our parents. This program, Connecting the Bridge Through Literacy, has greatly increased a lot. We have about 125 participants. They don't come the same time, but from Monday through Thursday, they are there learning in basic English, writing, obtaining their library cards. This program has allowed them to become very actively involved in their their kids' education, participating in parent-teachers conferences, PTA, board. I mean, they're doing so good in obtaining their own library cards. We also have increased the fact that we want them to learn how to read, but also read to their children at home. We've made them videotape and show us it sometimes. The library put together family nights where they come out with their kids, and we have movie nights. So it's really making a big impact in the residents' life, and things that they did not have back then, and they're actually imparting that in their own home. So I thank you guys for the support, and I look forward for this year to increase more participants. And what's passionate to me is having them obtaining their GED at the age of 45, 50 and up. So that we have about 25 that just obtained their GED, obtaining our literacy program. So thank you so much, and we plan to continue doing great work in the city of North Miami.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Nadej?
How many adults have you serviced throughout this past year?
Well, I want to say about 85, not counting the ones prior. But there's still so it's still continuous coming. And the ones that did not pass the GED are still continuing to pass this year.
And you're providing ESOL courses as well?
Mm-hmm. Our tutor are ESOL endorsed.
Okay.
From the County School Board.
So do they receive those credits
Yes.
as well?
They can continue it and register at Miami-Dade Community College.
And then the GED courses are their ABE courses?
Yes, ABE courses and GED courses.
Okay.
Mhm. Thank you.
All right. Hearing no other questions, then thank you very much. All right. Next up, we have Russell Life Skills and Reading Foundation Incorporated, doing business as Russell Education Foundation. Pauline Doyley is the contact person. They were a grantee last year. They service youth. They requested $18,008, and the city recommended $8,900. You may proceed.
Good evening. My name is Pauline Doyley, Director of Programs for the Russell Education Foundation. We're an after-school reading program. We have been with the City of North Miami since 2004. We use certified teachers to teach the kids math, science, and language arts. We're here from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday on school days. We also help with homework. One example of what we do, this year we had a student that came to us. He was struggling very much in math. With his determination and our teachers, we were able to help that student to get a solid B at the end of the school year. We continue to work with the parents also. We also advise them to work with their students, with their children, because when we find that when they work with their children, they do much better in school. We have been here 13 years with the City of North Miami, and our partnership has been working very, very well. We want to thank you so much for supporting the Russell Life Skills and Reading Foundation.
All right, do you have any questions?
I do.
All right, you may proceed.
All right. So, do you follow the students' FSA scores or the tracking measures that they take in order to ensure that the students' progress is met to pass the FSA, or do they come to you with those scores? Do you request them from the school? Are you in contact at all with the schools?
Because the teachers that we use, they're from the schools. Most of the kids come from those schools. So we're able to track it that way. They also sign a form that at the ending of the school year, we do get a copy of their report from the parents.
And the children that attend your program, they're only coming from public schools or charter and private?
Public schools, basically. We very rarely get any from charter schools.
Is it open to charter and private?
Yes, it's open to everyone. We do not turn anyone away, and we do not charge. It is free to them.
And what is the age group?
It's elementary school,
Okay.
5 to 12. Yes.
So students young as kinder can come in, or first grade?
Yes, kindergarten, K through 5th grade.
Fifth grade.
Yes.
All right, we have any other questions? Hearing none, thank you very much. You may step down.
Thank you.
All right, our next petitioning group is the Haitian Neighborhood Center, Saint La Incorporated. Attention, Jepsy and Metellus. They were grantee last year. They service youth. They requested $25,000. Staff recommended $8,020. State your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. Good evening, Commission members. Gypsy Metellus, Executive Director of Santa Haitian Neighborhood Center, 13390 West Dixie Highway in North Miami. And I'm very pleased to be able to say that for the very first time in 17 years, because prior to that, we were located in the city of Miami. And 5 months now, we've moved in, and we're very happy and hoping to continue to support North Miami residents in terms of seeking opportunity and making sure that this great city progresses along with all of its citizens.
All right, does anyone have any questions for Ms. Metellus?
I do.
You do it well, by all means.
Fire away.
Yep.
Back on education again.
Absolutely.
So the subjects that you focus on are your core subjects, reading, ELA, reading, writing, math.
So just to
No?
clarify that this particular petition was not in support of our youth program, but it
Okay.
was more in support of the employment
Okay.
training job placement program.
Okay. And how do you follow that? Is it after? Do you help them fill out applications?
So it's
and-
it's a comprehensive process. It is from mock job applications to resume building, skills assessment, employment orientation to sort of make sure that our folks understand the world of work, the culture of work, and more importantly, can really ace an interview, right? And so post all of that, then the most successful interviewees, if you will, are the ones to whom we'd provide a job referral and hopefully a successful placement. As you can imagine, there aren't enough jobs for the numbers of requests, right? For the numbers of job seekers. And so we've got to be really strategic in whom we refer to an opportunity because we think that that person stands the greatest chance of actually being employed.
So do you help gear them towards the track that applies to their skill set?
Absolutely, absolutely. Not just to their skill sets, but to what the employers are requesting as well, right? So matching the employees, the prospective employees' skills to the employer's wishes or the skills that they're looking for.
Okay. Well, welcome to the city.
Thank you very much. We're very happy here. Very happy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Ernst, do you have a question?
Yes, good evening. This is more for staff. I noticed that it was listed under youth programs, that kind of.
So maybe
so
there's a little
most of your
typo,
clients-
because we were so much part of your system that maybe the system decided which application
it's
we
more-
would submit,
and
but
at the moment
maybe
I
it's a
see our
typo.
staff has left us, so I can't get a.
I
maybe-
will,
That's
Go ahead.
that's why
Go
I asked
ahead.
the education question.
Yeah, we in the past we've applied for both, so
Right.
this is probably what's happened.
So,
I will have it corrected and addressed.
okay, so what would you categorize this under just for
Adult literacy, financial stability for the adults, yes.
for adults?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
But at the same time, you do have youth within the program that are high school grads or those that are seeking part-time employment or.
Sometimes,
All right.
and but the youth program we generally run does not necessarily lead up to employment.
Right.
That's a separate service.
Right, I
But
see.
in terms of the formal employment program, yes, we do
Most
serve
of
youth.
what you're asking for then, which, and in the past, has been directed toward your adult program, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So we've sort of opted in one
Sure.
cycle and opted out
Yeah, 'cause
another,
when
just to.
I read it, and then I looked at what the program type was described under by the city. It didn't make sense, but now I understand. I'm quite
Okay.
clear on that. Thank you.
Thank you very
And
much.
when you say adult, do you mean the 18 and up, or you're 35 and up?
Generally
40 and up?
18 and up, but the majority of the clients really tend to fall within the age range of 30 and up, right? The ones who are younger can come in and get assistance, sharpening up their resumes, making sure that they're prepared for the job that they're applying to, and don't require as much hands-on training as the older adults, if you will,
So
as
they're
the
nor-
older clients.
They're
And
normally of Haitian descent or Caribbean descent. from this area.
overwhelmingly of Haitian descent, but we do serve everyone. Of
And how do you
course.
get the word out?
We don't need to, and please don't get the word out.
I know you're established.
We
I've heard of you all, but
we see upwards of 5,000 to 6,000 around employment. This is employment and reemployment. Reemployment being defined as helping folks access unemployment benefits, making sure that the state understands their needs, their skills gap, and making sure that maybe they can find an opportunity to get retooled, retrained for a career opportunity and a job opportunity. So that's the reemployment side. The employment side is, again, another 3,600 clients per year, overwhelmingly from North Miami. That's always been the trajectory. And so right now it's so much easier. It's so much of a convenience for the clients, which is nice. But no need to get the word out. Among the clients, word of mouth among them is enough. And of course, partner organizations who refer to us, we work a lot with the city as well. And so I think we're good for now.
So how will the 8,000 versus the 25 impact your program?
Well, you always ask for the maximum, and of course, it's an attempt to also give you a sense of what a program actually costs, right?
Okay.
So if this program costs about $150,000, what the numbers serve costing maybe $420 per client. So it's an attempt to really put real numbers in front of you, recognizing clearly that we cobble together funds from anybody who has any to give. Right, so 8,000, I'll take it, and I'll go find the remaining elsewhere.
And that's pretty much what we've faced over the years, is the programs always ask for more than what we can give them, but they have other sources that they can reach out to. So it's pretty much across the board with any of the petitioners for funding. I noticed that you did point out that you are concentrating on certain census tracts within the city of North Miami that you,
Actually, we left it wide open this year.
Yeah,
Generally, the clients come from 33160, 161, 162. It's wide open. That way, they come in from any point of the city where they need our help.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. The next listed group was the Irving Thomas Elite Basketball Academy. Natasha Thomas, they were grantee last year. This year they requested $40,000. Staff recommended zero funding. Anyone wish to speak to that one?